First opening week here at A&M, just what's kind of the feeling?
Yeah, just excited. Looking forward to being in the ballpark, playing somebody else, and hopefully have some good weather. Weather forecast looks pretty good. Might be a little chilly Friday night. That's normal in college baseball, but rest of the weekend looks great. And we certainly need to get out there, and so does Fordham. Get the season started and try to learn a little bit more about our team.
What's the progression of the team been like since when a few weeks ago when we met and you guys started this training camp, I guess?
Yeah, for the most part, knock on wood, we've been able to stay healthy, get some guys back off injury like Austin Boast and Ryan Targach, and so that's been good. That's the big part of it, is just try and balance getting them ready for the season while also having their bodies fresh and ready when the season begins, because it's only going to get tougher, when you get into the grind of it. But progression's been good. Guys have, since day one of the fall, they've been open to coaching and learning, and we've started to see some guys emerge on both sides of the baseball, pitching wise and with the position players. But it's a long season, and the lineup that we roll out there on Friday will certainly change over the course of the weekend, and more than likely it changes throughout the course of the year. But guys are ready to go, and they're excited, and we'll see.
What kind of statement are you hoping to make on Friday with the first game?
Yeah, no statements. Just want to play fundamental baseball. Want to get out there and we'll see the guys. I anticipate us having a great crowd, and that's always, two things you're always going to fight in any athletic event, but especially opening day of baseball, is adrenaline and adversity, right? So I want to see the guys who play in the games the way they've practiced, and you normally see some guys have a little uptick in their performance, and then there's always, hopefully we don't have any, but there's always guys that go the opposite direction. But opening day is opening day. It's exciting, but it certainly doesn't define the season, nor does the first weekend. So we have to go out and play well if we want to win, and if we don't play well, then we'll get beat.
Speaking of guys playing under the lights, with the transfers and the veterans you have coming back, you've got the majority of the team has been through this before. It's not their first time to have opening days. Is that something that they can also help the younger guys with?
Yeah, no question. I think everybody gets butterflies. I will too. It doesn't matter where it is, here or anywhere else. I mean, the old saying is the key is to get the butterflies to fly in formation, right? To get them under control. So, but yeah, those guys that have been through it, the Claunches, the Kahlers, they've never been through it here. I don't know how many guys have opened in front of 6,000-7,000 people. I hope we have, but the rest of the guys have, and that's a great point. That especially trying to think, the guys that'll be rolling out there for us at least on Friday night to start the game will, as of now, will all be guys that have played a college baseball game before. So that'll be good, and for the young guys, it'll be good for them to see that from a vantage point in the dugout first before they have to get out there and play.
How quick do you want to mix guys in and kind of match situationally with some of those young guys to get their feet wet?
I have Fordham hasn't announced a pitcher yet for Sunday, so but I definitely have an idea, barring injury, the way I want to go in terms of the lineup throughout the course of the weekend. In terms of getting guys at bats that need at bats, that'll be a juggling act, making sure that we want to Clunch to certainly don't want him to catch all 3 games to start the year, so we'll have somebody else go out there at least one day. And but we want to win the games, but we also want to learn about themselves, right? So to play matchups and do different things. For example, I need to see if Brett Minnick can handle left-handed pitching. I need to see Kalai, with my own eyes, handle a left-hander. And you only get better by facing them. So I'm not saying we wouldn't pinch hit in certain situations, but we certainly want to win the game. But at the same time, you got to see, you got to find out, and the only way to do that is to play the games. And the guys who have performed the best to this point are the ones that are going to get the most opportunity, and what they make of it will be up to them.
What's sort of the biggest thing you're hoping to learn about your team from this first weekend series?
I want to see us throw strikes and handle the baseball and defense. That's the most important thing to me. Hitting's going to come and go. I want us to play good situational winning baseball when the game calls for us to score a runner from third base with less than 2 outs. I want to, the execution's not going to be perfect, but I want to see the intent and the awareness to know what the game's asking for. But most importantly, I want to see strikes, and that's, I think we have a group of guys on the front end of the pitching staff that have proven that they're strike throwers, and then we have a host of guys that have proven that they'll do it on any given at bat or any given day, but not as consistently. And we have to find more consistent strike throwers to be a good team. And then part of that is then catching the baseball, right? And because those pitchers need to see that when I make them hit it, not let them hit it, but when I make them hit the ball, most of the time we're going to make the plays behind them. And so, those are the things I really want to see over not just the first weekend, but over the course of the entire season.
You mentioned you want to see him throw strikes, so have you settled on a starting rotation for this first weekend yet?
Yeah, it'll be Detmer on Friday, Micah Dallas on Saturday, and Ryan Prager on Sunday.
And what made Detmer the choice to go out there on opening night?
Well, I think two things. He's, the only returning guy that has significant starts. I mean, Childress has a few, but he's not ready to do that just yet. And he's pitched the best. He's earned it. And I think the beauty of those three guys is two of them will be back here next year. And we haven't completely finalized who's going to pitch on Tuesday, but that is more than likely going to be an underclassman as well. So you'd like to think if we can go throughout the season, keep those guys healthy, have them get better, and go through the challenges of our schedule, that'd be really good for the future of the program too.
With Prager being a true freshman and finding his way into the weekend rotation, what has he shown you in just his short time on campus that earned him that spot?
Those strikes, yeah, those strikes. Got those strikes with a couple different pitches. Mature beyond his years. He's a valedictorian of his high school class, so he's super intelligent, very self-aware of what's going on. He's going to have butterflies too, but nothing phases that guy very much, and we got to get him going. He's earned the right. There's no use in slow playing it. We're not good enough on the mound yet to slow play him, and he's certainly talented. So some of the very best pitchers I've had, were in the rotation in their freshman year, and he's the guy that's, as long as he stays healthy, he's only going to get better.
You mentioned Boast and Targach as guys coming back from injury. Headed into this first weekend, what's their status, particularly with
Yeah,
Boast?
Boast and Targach are both, as of today, healthy and ready to go. Boast, I just want to be careful with him because those are challenging, and he's feeling great. But being on your feet for 3 straight days, amping up the adrenaline, amping things up, in whether he plays the outfield or running the bases, that kind of thing I want to make sure we have him for the long haul. So he'll play for sure. Whether he plays all 3 games, remains to be seen just yet. And Targach is in a good spot right now so far.
Early spring baseball is no surprise, even if this field isn't oriented the same way as what you had at TCU. The changes that a team has to go through when the wind's blowing in, helping the pitchers are blowing out, helping the hitters, you'll see that this weekend too.
Oh yeah, looks like it's going to be blowing in on Friday, and then flip around the other direction as it gets warmer. So yeah, that's always a part of the game, and that's when you play basketball, which I'm a big basketball fan. You sweep the gym floor and play. And here in baseball, every field's different. Everything has its own unique little nuance, and I think that's part of what makes the game great. So I don't really do lineups, or anything like that based on that. I'm not going to come to the ballpark and say, well, the wind's blowing out, so we're going to play this guy. But it certainly can affect how you play the game, and certainly can affect the pitcher for sure. If you got a guy that tends to be a more fly ball pitcher, but in general, yeah, I've learned that pretty quickly about this place because it is the exact opposite of where I came from. When a cold day in Fort Worth, the wind blew out, and a warm day, that was very much a pitcher's ballpark. Where on a warm day here, the ball carries pretty well.
Do you like the physicalness and athleticism of your everyday position players? I mean, you'd have some other teams on campus want to come over here and kind of poach some of your guys the way y'all fill out the uniform. Yeah,
there's a couple. I mean, with the exception of 1 or 2, that are smaller than me, but those guys are good players too. Yeah, we look good coming off the bus, but at the end of the day, you have to be a good baseball player. But I think those guys you're talking about, they're older too. They've been around a while. I mean, Dylan Rock's been in this his 5th college season. Troy Claunch his 5th. Britt, been around for 3 years. So. Yeah, that's great. Looks good in the team picture, but still got to play good baseball, and hopefully they'll do both, look good and play well.
What have you seen from Troy, just obviously getting the number 12, but also especially as a first-year guy and with a lot of transfers on this team, just being someone that as you mentioned, experienced player people can look up to?
Yeah, I think he's done a really good job of coming in. Everybody knew who he was. Knew he, just came out of super regional or regional. Yeah, regional. Yeah, he won our region. He won the regional at TCU. Played in the regional at TCU, but didn't win it. DBU won it. He's just done a really good job of coming into a situation where you have a lot of returning position players, and just kind of easing into the team. And he earned the respect of his teammates. He earned their respect. He didn't do that with his mouth. Just a good guy, And he spoke when something needed to be said, and he's done a really good job of mentoring a pitching staff and mentoring other guys behind him. He's a great student. He's in the Masters of Real Estate program here. He's going to be an awesome former student, super successful in whatever he chooses to do. And we have a lot of guys that we could have put that number 12 on. But I think for this year, my first year, Troy really kind of stood out as a guy that's doing those things, and we got to keep him healthy. That's a big deal. But he's a winning player. He's a winning player, and we're very glad to have him here.
Last question.
All
Thanks,
good.
Coach. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
guys. Appreciate it.